Good evening. Who's out there? Anybody there? Can you hear me, Deborah? Can you guys hear me? Hello? Hello? Deborah? Is it Moat?
Hi,
How
good
you
evening.
doing?
Fine.
Okay, there you go. Alrighty. Moat, are you there? Maybe not. Name's there. Okay. Well, we'll give it a few more minutes. How you doing tonight? Is it Deborah or is it Deborah?
Whichever. Anyone
Huh?
is fine.
Either one is fine.
Anyone is fine.
You gotta have a
Yes.
preference. You gotta have a preference.
Actually go by Debbie.
You have to go by Debbie.
Debbie
There
or
you
Debbie.
go. Okay, Debbie it is.
Yeah.
All right. Debbie, where you from?
Nigeria.
Nigeria. Okay. All right. Where you live? You live in San Diego?
Yes.
Okay. What do you do now? What's your occupation?
Sorry?
What do you do now? What's your occupation?
Schooling.
Oh, schooling, that's all you do. You don't work? Just go to school?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
that's
Not
good.
yet.
Good. All right. Okay. All right. Um, I'm gonna wait a few more minutes and see who else shows up and then we'll go from there, okay?
All right.
Okay. I'll put you on mute.
Okay.
Okay. All right, let's get started. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everybody else, who's this? Deborah, I heard you. Who's that? Who said?
Tell them a competition.
Oh, somebody got their music on, huh? Who was that? Who's that? Who? You know what? I'm gonna have everybody introduce themselves. All right. So what I like to do, there you go. How you doing there? Hey, Wayne. All right. So Deborah. Okay. All right. How's everybody doing tonight?
Good.
Good. Okay.
Great.
All right. Hopefully in the right class, operations management, management 6170. My name is Dr. Case. I'll be an instructor for this course. Okay. So first thing I like to do is just like everybody to go around the room, kind of introduce themselves, where you're from, what degree you're getting, maybe what you plan on doing with your degree, and what you do now would be helpful. Anything else you want to kind of share? So, Wayne, I'm just going to start with you since you're the first one at the top of the list. Can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cool. Yeah, my name is Wayne, and I am doing MBA. I don't really have a specific focus. And let's see. I am a producer at a creative agency,
Okay.
and I'm in charge of web development projects.
Okay.
So we build websites for our clients, and I'm in charge of for staying on time and budget and all of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
What kind of content you creating or producing?
I'm not part of content like asset creation department just yet. I'll probably be transitioning, but we do all kinds of stuff. Videos. We do photo shoots.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm mainly focused on the website.
Okay. Okay. Cool. All right. Well, appreciate it. Thank you. All right. Husa, I don't want to mess up your name.
It's Hussam.
Husam? Husan?
Hussam.
Husam.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Nice to meet you, Husam. Go ahead. Tell us about yourself.
So, my name is Hussam. I have bachelor degree in nursing. I moved. I was working as a nurse back home. I'm a Palestinian. I'm from Palestine,
Okay.
and now I'm just here as a student. I'm doing MBA concentration health management.
Okay. Okay. Cool. What you plan on doing with your degree?
We try to find a job after I graduate.
Say that again.
I'm gonna try to find a job.
Well, I know that part. I know you're gonna try to find a job. I hope that's the case, that you're gonna try to find a job. But like specifically, do you have a specific area you want to work in or an industry?
Yeah, I'd like to work in like health
Health?
field because
Okay.
my background is nursing.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, got you. Okay. Good, good. All right, good to meet you. All right,
Thank you.
Debbie.
Okay. I'm Debbie. I'm in Nigerian, and I had my first degree in biochemistry.
Okay.
Business background. My family, we have like different businesses. So while in school, I
Debbie, you're going in and out. You're breaking up.
get my
Yeah, we're having a hard time hearing you. You're breaking up.
degree. I
Can anybody else hear
studied
me, or is it just me?
my
Can't hear her.
Yeah, she's
ends
cutting out too.
Cutting out.
on
Okay.
various businesses. So let's just now I'm working for myself
Okay.
and family,
Okay.
self and family, and my family. And my can you hear me? Um, I said I'm a Nigerian. I had
Yeah.
my degree in biochemistry,
Okay.
and while doing that, I tried. I went into business. I have a business background actually. So
Mm.
for now, I'm just doing personal business and then running family business partially.
Okay.
So
Got
that's
you.
it for now.
What's the family business?
Estate management
Oh,
and food.
food. Okay. All right. Sounds good. All right. I appreciate. Okay. Let me see. We got Moab. Moab. Can you hear me? Does anybody else know Moab? No. No. Okay. We'll leave it alone. All right. Maybe they'll just pop back in the class. No worries. Okay. So, like I said, my name is Dr. Kays. Those that here in my bio. I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York, born and raised. I, joined the military a little ways back in the early '90s. I retired from the Marine Corps in 2013. I was in the Marines for about 21 years or 22 years, give or take. I have an undergrad in business, a master's in HR, and a PhD in organizational leadership. I work for Toyota, Wells Fargo, um, a few other Fortune 500 companies, mostly doing business analytics, aftermarket analytics. I also teach statistics. And then I'm working on another master's in artificial intelligence right now. So I'll be done with that and kind of transitioning into that industry next summer. Moad, is that you? Maybe not. Okay. Um, So for the most part, when I'm not teaching and traveling, I have a few business ventures that I'm involved with that keep me busy. So keep my interests going. So that's pretty much it about me. I'm pretty laid back and not too crazy with things. Okay. So appreciate everybody being here in class. As you know, this is a master's level program, and so the expectations are a little different than from undergrad. All right. Does anybody here have a master's already, or any other graduate or advanced degree? No, no. Okay. All right. So, first thing I always say, like, this stuff is not rocket science. Well, this is probably the most rocket scientist class you'll take in a business or an MBA, really. There's production management, which is almost the same, maybe statistics. So a little more technical in nature than some of the other classes. Okay, so at this level, I'm not here to hold anybody's hand. I'm not here to babysit. Okay, I expect you to turn the work in, quality work. All right. I also understand that you guys have lives and other things going on. So, by all means, keep those communication lines open when you need something. All right. If you're running behind, work, is taking precedence over the things you need to do for school, let me know. All right. I don't have any problems extending or giving you more time to do certain things based on what's going on in your life. Okay. That's the whole point of the program, is to kind of work around all those things: life, school, work, all those little factors. So if you talk to me, we keep staying in constant communication, we won't have any problems. All right. I'm pretty easy going with when it comes to that, because I understand that things happen. So sometimes you need a little more time with what's going on. Okay. Um, Second thing I would say is that this class is a learning environment. Okay. And we're both learning. I'm learning from you. You're learning from me. We're learning from each other, and trying to walk out of the class with a better understanding of not only the material but each other. Right at the end of the class. Right, because when you get into the corporate world and whatever job you take, and all you have had jobs before, it's about teamwork, and especially Wayne, in the line of work you do, I'm sure it's a lot of teamwork that goes into making the product a quality product and delivering on time and budgets, all those things that Wayne was talking about. All those things are operation management. Okay, it's all about making sure we get the job done under budget and provide a quality product or service to the consumer. That's really at the end of the day what's really what it boils down to, and make a profit at doing it. But the way you do that is by delivering quality at the most efficient um, way and at the lowest cost possible. All right. So I say all that to say that there's going to be times where we're talking about something and you may not all agree with each other, which is fine. All right. We don't have to agree. All right. We just have to respect each other's opinion and sometimes leave understanding that we're agreeing to disagreeing. All right. You're not going to always be on the same sheet of music. You're not going to always see eye to eye. But don't let that be a block, a roadblock to creating friendships and networks that are going to serve you later on down in life. All right. Because any one of you are going to go on and be the next millionaire, be the next Bill Gates, be the next, Kamala Harris, be the next, I don't know, whoever. All right. Just doing great things. Not with the notoriety or being famous, but there's a lot of not famous people who are very impactful and are influencing our lives and how we live, right? And you don't know any of their names, right? People like you guys that are going to corporate America, imparting your knowledge, coming up with new ways to do things, new inventions, new processes, new procedures, new content, new whatever, all right? Different ways of approaching something, right? So you never know who's going to do what, right? So you want to make sure you stay in contact with those folks and create a network to where you can reach out, because networking is the other important part of school. All right, you make these connections, you make these friendships that will carry on, for 20, 30 years, right? And whenever you need something or they need something, they can call you up and say, hey, you know what, I'm looking for a job, or what do you think about this? I'm thinking about this business venture. I may call Debbie, be like, hey, Deb, I'm looking at doing this business in this particular field. I know you're really well versed in it. What do you think about this, right? I don't have any problem with that. I know Debbie knows her business and she knows what she's doing in that particular field, so I would reach out to her, right? You have to have that kind of, mindset if you really want to kind of move up in the world and understand that everything is about communication and teamwork and networking, okay? To be successful and make things happen in a corporate environment. Don't take anything personal, all right? We'll talk politics, maybe even religion. Don't take anything personal, all right? It's all learning, and it's all about understanding people's perspective, right? Because everyone here comes from different places, we have different experiences, and so no two experiences are the same. And so everybody has valuable input that is going to add to everyone else's toolkit, all right? So just remember that. It's wide open. The third thing I would say is that turn in your work. If all else fails, just turn in your work. Okay. If you don't turn in your work, there's nothing I can do. You come to class every day, but if there's no work, there's nothing I can do about it. I'm not saying don't come to class because I want you to come to class, but it's a little different if you don't come to class because you turn your work in. All right. I have something to go on. I have something still to grade. You can still get a decent grade by turning in your work. All right. So at the end of the day, that's what it really boils down to. Turn in your work, try to do the best you can with all the circumstances that you have in your life, and just kind of approach it in that manner and treat it like a job. All right. Um, Aside from that, if you're not going to be in class, I would appreciate it if you send me an email or text. Just let me know, hey, I'm not going to make it to class. I don't need to know why. You guys are grown adults, but that's not my concern. all I need to know is, hey, you're not going to make it to class. All right. Just think of it as work. If you weren't going to make it to work, you'd call your boss. Hey, I'm not going to make it to work. Maybe your boss wants to know, maybe not, but you give him him or her the courtesy. So I expect the same thing. And if I'm not going to be able to make it to class or something's going on, I will email you or text you or tell you in advance, hey, class is not going to happen tonight. I got to cancel because of such and such, or I post a video, or the nowadays, because we're doing Zoom, sometimes my internet is up and down. It all depends. It's happened to me before. So if we're not going to have class, I'll let you know in advance. Okay. I don't want to waste your time when you could be doing other things. All right. Aside from that, had anybody have any questions?
No, thank you.
Okay, good. Moed, is that you?
Yeah, I'm Mod.
Okay, good. Can you tell us about, where you're from?
Yeah,
what degree you're getting, and then what you plan on doing with your degree?
yeah, I'm Mod Awadi. I'm from Jordan. I'm an international student. I want to. I have a bachelor's degree with civil engineering,
Okay.
and I want to complete MBA now.
Okay.
And it's the first semester. It's hybrid, and yeah, I spent 3 semesters with online.
Okay.
Online, completely online. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Good. You plan? What are you gonna do with the MBA, with the masters?
Yeah.
What's your plan?
Yeah, MBA. It's general MBA.
Okay. What's your plan? What are you gonna do with it? Are you gonna still stay in civil engineering, or are you just gonna move on to something else?
I like civil engineering, but I like the management too, because
Okay.
I want maybe to discuss with project management with
Okay.
MBA.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's will be good for my first degree.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
No problem. All right. Sounds good.
Thank
Okay.
you.
No problem. All right. So with that said, I guess there's a lot more people online, and we only folks, I guess,
You can leave it right there. Thank you.
hybrid. Okay. So let's go with the syllabus real quick. I just want to make sure we have some clarification or some, understanding of what's required here. All right. So nothing super duper up here as far as course description, the CLOs, course learning objective. Make sure that everybody have the book. Yes. No.
No, I don't have a book, doctor.
Don't have the book yet, Noah?
No, I don't have a book yet.
Nobody has a book yet.
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
Quote it. Yeah.
Is it electronic book, or do you guys are not getting physical textbook?
Electronic book is good.
Okay. There's no one has a book.
Hmm?
No, I was talking to the rest of the class.
Yeah.
Wayne, do you have a book? No. Hussam, you have a book?
We're gonna have the electric one.
You have the electric one. Okay. And Debbie, you have a book?
No,
No book. Electronic one too, or just no book at all?
no book yet.
Okay. Make sure you go get the book, okay? Ask for the book. Make sure you get it either electronic or hard copy. All right. You're gonna need the book. It's gonna be hard to I mean, I guess you could take the quiz off the PowerPoint, but it's good to have the book. Okay. So get that as soon as you can. All right. So what we're going to focus on is some of the requirements here for the class. All right. So there's one LE every week, right? 300 to 400 words. And it's basically 30 points altogether, right? 14 points for your primary post, and then 8 points each for your responses back to your classmates. Okay. So your primary post, of course, is due on Wednesday, and then the responses aren't due till Sunday of that week, right? At 11:59 p.m. All right. So make sure you get those in. All right. We got 7 quizzes. Okay. One for each week. And then last week you have the final exam. All right. And then we have title justification. Basically, the title justification is just that. I just want to know what the title of your paper is going to be, and then why you picked that particular, topic. per se. Okay, nothing long. Literally one paragraph is fine. Okay, title. Why did I pick this title? Why did I pick this topic? That's it. Okay, so don't make it into rocket science or anything like that. Don't just stress out about it. Just get it in. Okay. After that, you have a group case study, right, in the 5th week. Okay. So gonna get that in. Okay. Then the final paper draft, right? 6th week. Don't forget, it's a draft. All right. It doesn't have to be totally complete. All right. Just submit what you have. All right. Because again, it's just a draft. It's not the final paper. I just want to see how you're coming along, and if you're going in that right direction as far as like content, grammar, all that stuff. Right. Make sure it's good. APA. I just want to make sure that stuff is good to go. So I want to check the paper out. If you want to turn it in prior to that, and for me to take a look at it, that's fine too. I don't mind. Okay, you can do that also. All right. After that, you have the final paper, right, and the final paper presentation, right, and then the final exam. Okay, so basically, those are the requirements for this particular course. Straightforward. If you have any questions about anything, as far as like what it is, I'm really looking for, or questions specifically dealing with each thing, by all means, we can talk about it when it comes to that point when you have that question. But everything's pretty straightforward. But again, there's always room to ask for questions and get more clarification. So don't hesitate to do that. All right. Grading scale. All right. It's 1,000-point grading scale. So we should be good to go. Okay. All right. And then just basically this outlines, excuse me, each week and the chapters that will be covered as far as, or you should look into. All right. Every week when we have class, I'm not gonna go through every chapter. Okay. I'm gonna pick one chapter, one particular PowerPoint, talk about it. The other two or the other chapter and the material is up to you to go and read. Okay, it's up to you to go and read. There's no possible way for me to cover every bit of material in the each week. All right, and so I'll talk. You go. You look at all the chapters assigned for that week. Make sure you read up on them. If you just skim each chapter, read the PowerPoints, that kind of thing. Just make sure you are at least familiar with the topics and the main points in each chapter, because it'll be necessary for the quiz. All right. So as you go through the quiz, you'll be able to access your book and a PowerPoint to help you out with the quiz. But make sure you stay focused on those chapters because the quiz questions will come directly from there. All right. Week 2, 4, and 5, so forth and so on. So you can see the breakdown of each chapter, so you can plan what you need to do, for each week coming up. All right. And I would recommend you stay ahead of this as much as you can. Okay. Just to give yourself a little leeway. And of course, anything you want to submit early that you want me to review, I don't mind. By all means, just send it to me and say, hey, Dr. Case, I'd like you to look this over for me before I turn it in. I'll take a look at it, give you my recommendations, and then you can make those changes and then give it back to me, right? Submit it for final submission, and then we'll go from there. Okay? Anything at all, I don't mind. Any other questions you have about, school or just general questions, I'm here. Okay. I can't give you real good advice on, being married or having kids. I never done either. Okay. But, I definitely have had my share of experiences that I don't mind sharing. And if you have questions, I'll do my best to help you out and kind of point you the right direction. All right. Okay. Aside from that, anybody have any questions? No questions. All right. Let me get rolling here. All right. So, okay. So, operations management, right? Okay. Anybody can tell me what, in their own words, what's considered operations management? What does it entail? Now everybody all at once now. Come on now. Don't jump. Was that Dave? You gonna say something?
Okay. Basically, I think someone in charge of the building process, or let's say the gathering stage of a particular project.
Okay.
So let's just say basically the work of the business before the product, the final product comes to life.
Okay.
Let me just use that word. I don't know if you are getting me.
Yeah.
So
Okay. All right.
that's it.
Okay. Good. That's not bad. It's not bad. That's good. Anybody else want to add to that?
Maybe something that involves like day-to-day things. Make sure the company is running.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. That works too. That works too. Anybody else with Sam Moat? Anything you want to add?
No, doctor, thank you.
No. Okay. Okay. So basically, the way you guys put it to, I mean, or each of what you guys said, basically put together is what kind of operations management is, right? It's basically the activities done by the corporation or the business entity that lead to the manufacturing or production of the particular core product, right? Or the core competency, whatever it is, okay, that they do, right? What are all the things that go into making our product or service? Okay, really just what it boils down to. And when we say that, we're considering budget, raw materials, distribution, right? Not only supply distribution, but also distribution from a standpoint of, how are we going to distribute the product? Okay. How are we going to receive raw materials, right? How are we going to account for raw materials? How are we going to budget for all the things that we don't really see coming, right? Weather phenomenon, right? COVID, right? How do all those things affect our operations, right? And how do we, kind of take not only our tangible resources as far as like, raw materials, budget, um, you know, equipment, right? But how do we take that in conjunction with our most important resource, the human resource, right? And then turning out our product or service, right? That really what an operations management is boiled down to, right? Timelines, meeting budgets, meeting quality control requirements, right? All that stuff is operations management. And at the top, you have your COO, right? So COO, what's everybody know what COO is? What's COO? Everybody know what CEO is. What's the COO? Anybody?
Chief Operating
Chief of
Officer.
operations, right? Chief operations or chief operation officer, right? So that's the guy or gal who's in charge of all operations, all right? And then you gotta understand the difference between the CEO and the COO, right? Anybody know what the difference is between the CEO and the COO? Go ahead, Wayne, you gonna say something?
Yeah, I guess CEO is someone who kind of is a visionary for the company.
Yeah.
Make sure the futures and the next steps. And CEO is the guy who gets it done, pretty
Yep.
much.
That's pretty much what it is, right? COO is concerned with long-term growth, vision, our where are we looking at, where do we want to be in the next 10, 50, 100 years, right? That's the CEO. He's out there, she's out there, business development, okay? The COO, as Wayne said earlier, is more involved with the day-to-day activities, all right, sort of, right? Not necessarily directly, but that's kind of what the title entails. What's going on internally, right? That's really what the COO is about. What are we doing based on the departments that we have and the synergy that we're trying to create, right? What's going on? And I'm managing all that as a COO. So I'm more concerned about the day-to-day activities that are going into making our product or service and how that is getting managed, right? With a CEO is just worried about, hey, I want to make this thing last forever. Okay, I'm already talking to people, getting money, getting all the resources we need, so that the CEO can manage the people, manage the resources, and make sure everything is good to go. Right now, a lot of people would say, why would I want to deal with operations management? Okay, um, and no one has actually been an operations manager before, like in title. Has anybody been an operations manager in title? No, no. All right. I would say that Wayne, for sure, you've had operation management experience. Debbie, for sure, your family business, you've had some operations management, right? You may not have the title, right? And you may not have thought of it as operations management, but you're definitely doing it, right? You got budgets concerns, you got people concerns, you got timeline
Yes.
concerns, all right? You got all
Yes.
those things going, right? Wayne does too, right? Everybody, I'm not Moat Saint Moat, yeah, especially Moat with his civil engineering stuff. Um, some I'm not, some not really doing anything right now, but at the same time, operations management is something that happens all the time. People just don't even think about it in that way. They're just more concerned about their little bubble, right? So you have to think of it. It's a small operation, right? But you're still a manager of operations. You're still a manager of what's going on, right? And so we do this every day, right? And so really, when you talk about why I study it, because I want to know what's going on in the company. Okay. I want to know, how do I bring different pieces together to make it work so that I can reach my end objective. Okay. Because it's not easy. All right. It's not easy. If you ever um, look at, may not think of it this way either. Your parents are operations managers. Okay, especially if you have more than one child, if you have siblings, right? Imagine you had to like manage all these people's times, right? And mothers are very good at operations, right? They have to manage, the kids. They kind of have to manage the husband. They have to manage the work. They have to manage a whole lot of things, right? So mothers are really good operations management. So are dads, but a lot of times dads kind of like focus on their work and that kind of thing. Once in a while you find a dad that's kind of on his own or managing the kids too, but a lot of times it's the mother that kind of manages the household and manages the kids and all that other stuff, right? So it's putting all these pieces together and making it all work, right? Making it all work at the end of the day and providing a quality product, right? Again, some you change environments. You driving now? Um, so
I didn't have internet connection. That's why
okay,
I
no
leave.
problem, no problem, no worries. Um, Another thing is that operations at the end of the day is probably the most important aspect of the company, right? Aside from human resources, and when I say human resource, I'm talking about physically the employees, the actually human aspect of it. But operations really is the driving force in the whole company, right? Every other department within the company takes its key or guidance from operations. Okay. We want to know, what are we trying to do? What's our goal? What's our mission? What's our end state? All right. And so, what are the resources we need? What are the budget we need? What are the things we need to make that happen? Right. And everybody else around them fills in the gaps, right? It's from marketing to IT to HR to what other departments are there, communications, I mean, administration. There's a bunch of different departments, but at the end of the day, operations really is at the core of everything we do, because if you're not aligned with the operations of the company, the operations are going to go this way, you're going to go that way. Okay, and you're going to be off. Right, you have to stay parallel to what operations is doing. All right, because we don't want to waste resources on things that the company isn't trying to do, because operations gets their marching orders from the CEO or the C-suite, right? They come up together, or the shareholders, they figure out, okay, where do we want the company to go, right? What are we trying to get the company to be? What products are we interested in? What industry do we want to stay in? Are we venturing out? That's all operations. And then once we figure that out, everybody else supports that mission. Okay, so it's important that people understand that operations is really at the center of it, and everything else is support. All right. Wayne, did you want to say something? No. Okay. Good. All right. Okay. Operations, of course, is it's definitely interesting, and it's also most very challenging. All right, because there's one common factor. I don't care what you're doing, operations, marketing, human resource, whatever it is. There's one common factor in all those things. And anybody know what that is? What's the common factor between operations, IT, HR, marketing, finance? What's the one common denominator? Say that again.
Profit.
Who?
Profit. I said profit.
Profit? Yeah, no. Yeah, no, profit is. I mean, at the end of the day, profit is what everybody wants to happen, but they don't really think of it directly, right? And some of those
Yeah.
things that you know, some of those areas contribute directly to the profit, some indirectly, and some are considered cost centers, right? And not necessarily a direct revenue generator, right? But there's
Maybe
one thing. Go ahead.
maybe management,
Management. What do you mean by management?
like everyone of them needs management.
Okay, yeah. No, this is true. Everybody needs management. Everybody needs leadership. Okay, all right. But it's just one. It's very one simple thing that all those things have in common. It's super simple. No
Data,
data. Yeah, data's good. Data's important. We need data. We need information. All right. All right. All those things, no matter what company you have, no matter what you're doing, there are people involved. Okay. The human aspect of it all. Okay. The human aspect is what makes everything different. All right. So it may sound like, okay, what the heck is Dr. Gates talking about? All right. But the people in your company make your company what it is. Okay. You guys ever go to Chick-fil-A or In and Out,
yeah,
right? Okay. What do you guys think about the service there?
good.
Good service?
Yeah,
Okay. Anybody else disagree?
I think it's good.
Good, good. All right. What about McDonald's? What do you think about that service?
I don't like it.
Don't like it. Okay. Anybody else? No? Well, some people don't eat fast food, so I get it. All right. But the point is that the difference between those two companies and it's the people, right? The attitude, right? The professionalism, but that all comes from the corporate structure. That all comes from internal training and coaching, right? And when you go to Chick-fil-A, you go to In and Out, you realize like, oh, these people are high quality service folks, and they don't argue with you. They have always positive. Your order's always right. Okay, what you order is always what you get, right? For the most part. Okay, if there's a mistake, they will correct it for you right there on the spot. Won't give you attitude, right? The food is good. Okay, the product is good, and so that makes a difference as compared to like a McDonald's, where sometimes you never know what you're gonna get.
Mm.
Okay, you don't know what you're gonna get when you go to a drive-through or you go to a cashier, right? And so the people in the organization are really, what makes the difference or differentiate between one company and the next. The attitudes. Okay, and so whenever you're managing people, there's always something's gonna happen. Okay, there's always an adventure. There's always some kind of hiccup. There's always some kind of thing going on, because each person comes with their own little quirks, their own little, nuances, right? That's what makes each company fail or not fail, right? What makes one CEO great and another CEO not so great, okay? Because they have different personalities, they have different vision, they have different directions they want to go in, but work ethic is different, right? And so the people and how you manage them are important aspect of anything in your company. Operations management, marketing, it doesn't matter. It's about the people, right? And making sure that the people execute in the way that you want them to execute. This is even more so important in operations when you have a production line, all right? You have a certain budget and you have someone who's in charge of making 1,000 widgets a day. You want them to be efficient, precise, right? And get good at it, right? And build efficiencies and build economies of scale, right? You don't want that person to be, so with it, where if they produce 1,000 widgets, I know 700 of them are good. The other 300, I don't know about. Okay. You want to make sure that that person is well versed in what they're doing. That's part of operations management, right? Dealing with those folks. And that's going to be your challenge, right? It's not going to be the equipment. It's not going to be, really the material. A lot of times, 9 times out of 10, your challenge is going to be the people. Okay. It's going to be the people. It's not going to be anything else. All right. Once in a while, you have some issues where, okay, I may not necessarily have all the materials I need, right? I may not have all the time I want, okay? But at the end of the day, operations management really is based on the people, and their attitude and their approach to what they're doing and how they do it. All right. We kind of talked about operations management already as far as definition goes. Okay. So aspects of operation management, right? So we got decisions, right? Function, and we got process, all right? So when it comes down to decisions, right, the operations manager has to decide on a number of things, pretty much everything, okay, as operations manager. And you could be the operations manager for a lot of departments if they're related, or you could be operations manager for one of the departments. But the COO, I should say, really at the end of the day, is the person that is going to make some major decisions about, supply, inventory, all this other stuff, right? Quality control, right? The other aspect is function. Okay. How is management, operations management, tied in with the other departments in the organization? Okay. Like I said before, it's just not about, operations, but operations is at the center of it all. Okay. They are the heartbeat, or the brain, I should say, of it all. So whatever they're doing, that's kind of the directions we need to go into. Okay. Then you have process, right? How do we make, right? How do we take inputs, put them through the transformation process, and create outputs? Okay, that's what we're looking at, right? How do we make our product, or goods or services, right? What does that take? What does that look like, right? What are the raw materials we may need, or the things that we need to put into the transformation process to get out what it is we're looking for, right? So one aspect of that is, let me see that, is the supply chain, okay? Because really, if you're talking about operations management, you're more likely talking about production or some kind of manufacturing aspect, right? And you need raw materials, right? Or you need just material in general, right? And so how does the material flow in? How does it flow out, right? How do we pay for the material? How do we account for the material? How do we, manage materials as far as waste, right? How to manage material as far as, chain of custody, right? Who has access to certain things, right? How do we, take the material and make it last as long as it possibly can? How do we do, just in time inventory, okay? Or how do we do, how do we, push I don't want to go into too much into Kaizen. And is anybody familiar with Kaizen? The
No.
Kaizen process? No? Okay. The Kaizen is basically is a Japanese word for, a term. It should say eliminate waste. Okay, and it's the way Toyota operates. Right, it's the way they do things. So Kaizen could very much, if you ever go to a production plant or manufacturing plant that Toyota owns, you will notice a lot of things that you probably won't see in other companies, in other manufacturing plants, right? The placement of the material in which the person needs to do their job, right? It's kind of like feng shui, sort of, where it's placed in certain areas so that you have access to it, and it's not a lot of mobility involved, right? A lot of wasted movement. So there's some kinesiology involved in Kaizen, but it's all part of their whole operations management supply chain, right? How do I manage money? Okay, which is probably one of the bigger aspects, because inventory supply equates to money, right? If I'm wasteful in how I'm managing my money, right, or how I'm managing supplies, I'm basically wasting money, okay? Because if I'm buying wood and I'm wasting the wood, but I need it for certain things, or I'm not using it to its full potential, I just have to keep buying wood. I'm going to be spending money when I don't need to be spending money. Okay, so we're looking for waste, and waste to eliminate waste, right? And also supply chain goes across the organization, right? Because every part of the organization needs supplies, right? And needs to manage that inventory, because all those things are money. Paper clips, pencils, garbage liners. Does anybody know what's one of the most expensive things in a company that a company buys? Or waste money, not waste money, but one of its
Any
liability.
company,
What's that?
like any company,
Yeah, any company. What's one of the biggest costs for a company?
human resource, like the employees.
Human resource. Okay, so after HR, because HR is definitely the number one. What's after? What do you think is after?
The waste.
Waste. What do you mean waste? Oh, waste for the company as far as supplies.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Definitely
The
waste.
supplement, like the supplement.
The supplements.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No. Definitely. Okay. Anybody else? No. Debbie, you look like you got something on your mind. Like you want to tell me, like like you just burning to tell me something.
Okay. Okay.
What's that?
I would say yes. Okay. I
Go
would
ahead.
say it depends on the location. Actually,
The who?
depends the location of your
Location.
company.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Determines that.
Yeah, that's pricey. That's pricey. That's definitely a cost, rent or whatever it is you're paying. Definitely. So one of the costs that a lot of people don't even think about for a company is just the um, hygiene portion of the company. How much money you think the company spends on toilet paper,
I see.
garbage bag?
Sorry.
Mm.
Sorry.
Yeah.
When I said location, I was talking about like where the company is in, like the whole the country or wherever the company is. Like for Nigeria now, I would say electricity.
Okay. Okay.
I would say companies spend more on fuel,
Hmm.
on gas.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
you, like if I would say that compared to hygiene, like you said.
Okay. No, now I get what you're saying now. Okay. No, definitely. Yeah, those utilities definitely are expensive depending on what you do, right? If you're manufacturing
Yeah.
specifically, you're going to spend a lot of money on, electricity, oil, lubricants, things for the machines, upgrade, maintenance. Yeah, you're right. You're definitely going to spend a lot of money on that stuff. But that stuff is kind of included in the operations cost, right? You kind of account for that as part of the cost of goods sold, sort of. But definitely, if you pull it out, it's very expensive, right? And the company's always trying to cut, because again, you can waste that very easily. When I said, toilet paper, garbage cans, those kind of things, those are things people don't think about, right?
Yeah.
If you go to the bathroom and you wash your hands, right? That's water. That's the water bill, right? Use the soap. that's another bill, right? People don't think about those things. And so that's one of the most expensive things for the company is really just the 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 I guess the sustenance of the human resource of the people. Okay? Because you go through, imagine you go to work, right? Sometimes at work, you walk in like, oh look, it's free coffee. There's donuts. There's a machine there with stuff where I can just grab out of the fridge, right? There's tea. But you don't pay for it. I don't remember seeing you take a dollar, you just grabbing it and going, right? You just grab and go, right? And so those little things cost money, right? And we're always trying to, yes, take care of the employee of the workforce, but we also want to do it in a way which is responsible and is not going to cost us a bunch of money, right? You have people actually stealing toilet paper from work and taking it home. Okay, happens all the time. Taking paper, from work and taking it home because you need printing paper. You have a printer at home, but you don't have any paper. Why would I pay for it? I just take it from work, right? They got plenty of paper. Okay, so all those little things, right? That they all involved with supply chain because now me as a supply manager, I had 20 boxes of paper, right, that I just bought last week. But for some reason, now I only have 10. Right? You know why? Because Debbie took 3 home, and some took 3 home, right? Wayne took a couple, Moat took 2. Matter of fact, I took a couple home, right? Now all of a sudden, guess what I have to do? I have to buy 10 more boxes of paper at $20,000, right? So basically, I just spent 20 grand for everybody to take paper home. All right. Doesn't seem like a lot, but at the end of the year, if I'm spending 20 grand a month extra, right, or doubling, right, that's $240,000. That almost sounds like $250,000 to me, right? So that sounds like 2 people's salary, maybe in 3 people's salary, depending on how much you pay for, right? Little stuff like that are the things that um, operation management, supply chain, supply distribution, um, all those things are involved in that in managing an inventory management, right? And making sure that we have everything we need to get to where we need to get to. Because if I, as a supply chain guy, have all this material, at least I think I have this material, and the operation manager is counting on me to have a certain level of material, and I think I have it, because we all have it planned out. Like we're gonna make 1,000 widgets this week, and we have material for 1,100 widgets, but we're only gonna make 1,000. But for some reason, I only have 900 widgets worth of material. What happened to the other 200 that I had, allocated for this particular job or making the 1,000 widgets, right? And so that all links up. Okay, that all links up because now I have to go in and explain to the operations manager as to why I don't have the material they need, right? I have to order it, and hopefully it's not on back order, because now if it's on back order, guess what? We just held up the production line, right? Meanwhile, we all have paper at home, but everything stopped at work, right? Everything slowed down. We can't meet our orders. Okay, we can't meet our orders. Guess what happens? We start losing customers. We start losing clients because we can't meet our timelines, right? Because we're having supply issues. And then guess what happens then? Hey, sorry, Sam, I gotta let you go because we don't have enough work. We lost 3 contracts last week because we couldn't meet the deadlines, all right? Because we don't have the material, which is a true statement right now. If you look at, companies let's look at the construction, the home building industry right now, right? Yes, it's a big boom and it's as a seller's market, but one of the key things as to why there's such a big demand or high demand for homes is because they aren't building as many right now, right? And anybody know why they're not building as many homes right now?
Because everyone wants to live like everyone making a family. He needs a home or apartment by himself.
Yeah, that's part of it. Yeah, definitely. But at the core of it, like at the end, like at the core level, why do we have a housing shortage sort of right now? Why is it that
Because the population increase.
there's the what?
Population increase. The
Say that again.
population.
Say that again, Hussam?
Because the population is increased, like number of people is increasing.
Yeah. That's part of it. That's part of it. But Debbie, were you gonna say something?
Yes, I would say cost of raw materials actually
There you go. There you go. That's the
has
answer.
not been friendly.
You said it again?
I said cost of raw materials has not been friendly recently, I think because of the COVID
Uh-huh.
and everything.
Right. Okay. All right. So that is probably the one of the major reasons that there's a shortage in inventory right now because the cost of materials are a lot. Cost of lumber specifically is sky high. All right. But that's connected to other things. That's connected to, global warming, climate control, all this other stuff, deforestation, all this other stuff. Also, as Hussam pointed out, the fact that more people are looking to, kind of downsize. They're looking, smaller homes, and the population is also increasing. Right, that's a major factor. Right, the population is increasing. Maybe not during COVID. I don't think. I think during COVID, our population or the birth rate actually went down. I think, but um, all those reasons are critical as to why we have a housing shortage and why houses are so expensive right now, especially in California. Right, you can't buy a house, and not get into a bidding war right now in California. Right, you're going to pay, and you're going to pay top dollar, and hopefully it only keeps going up. If not, you're in trouble. All right. So some decisions that you would make as a operations manager, right? So there's just a fictional company called Pizza U. Okay. These are the things they're looking at. They're looking at the process, right? How do we make the pizza, right? How should we produce the pizza? The quality, the capacity, inventory, supply chain. All these aspects are important, right? How we make the pizzas critical because you could have a manufacturing plant that is producing cheese for 5 or 6 different pizza companies, and they each have their own recipe. Okay, I used to work for a company called Perino, and Perino makes the cheese for pretty much all the major pizza companies. All right, and so in the plant, the production plant, I should say, we had 5 different lines that made cheese. But depending on the type of cheese we were making, we would switch out certain things, right? In order to make the cheese for Domino's, make the cheese for Pizza Hut, make the cheese for Little Caesars, make the cheese for Domino's. There were different aspects of it where it had, okay, this one has oil, this one has oil and water, this one has plant-based this, they're all different, right? So how you produce the pizza is important, and how many lines of production you have could be extremely important, right? Then you have the quality, right? Does the pizza dough or the cheese meet the quality standards that the customer is expecting? And when we say customer, we're talking about the pizza places, the pizza companies, right? Because they want to make sure that the pizza is capable of lasting long enough to get to where it needs to get to, right? Get on the pizza and then get to the customer in a manner that tastes good, right? That's edible, and the customer is not going to complain about the cheese tastes funny or it tastes bad, or whatever the case may be. Okay. All right. How much output do we need? All right. So again, depending on what's going on, you'll have various times within the production line where you'll increase production or decrease production. Okay. So when we think about that, can anyone think of a time where there might be an increase in the production of pizza or chicken wings or something like that? Just as a hint, like what time period would we think about that would have an increase in production in pizza?
I'd say summer.
Summer, okay, all right, maybe summer. What else?
During a sporting event.
During a sporting event. There you go. I mean, there you go, right? Super Bowl, okay. Any, high end, World Series, those kind of things, right? There's always increase in the demand for pizza, wings, right, beer, and those companies literally ramp up production, okay, because they know that people are going to be looking for those products, right? And so we don't want to, as a company that is making cheese, I don't want to work for Perino and not knowing that, hey, during this time of year, it's kind of like Christmas, right? When Christmas comes around, or even before Christmas, all the companies, all those department stores, they increase their workforce, right? Because they have seasonal workers, because they understand that there's going to be an influx in the number of people coming in to buy stuff, all right, and to do stuff for Christmas, okay? Same thing, all right? Companies increase production and figure out their capacity, right, based on the demands of their clients at particular times, and it changes back and forth. Okay. Inventory is another major decision that you probably make. And again, it's just a fictional company, right? PTU, but these are real questions that any company is going to go through and ask. When it comes to inventory, especially if you're in a kind of a food industry. Okay, is the item perishable? Right? What ingredients do we need to have? How much of those ingredients do we have? How long can we keep them? What's the shelf life like? Okay, all those things are important because I don't want to get a product on the shelf or in the inventory that I know has a shelf life of a day or two, and then I don't use it in a day or two, and then it goes bad. So guess what? That's a waste of money. That's 10, 15, $20 just spent that now I have to go back in and repurchase that particular ingredient so that I have it for my production line. Okay. And so inventory is also important, right? And then just the supply chain in general, right? Not every supplier is going to be a good supplier. Okay. Some suppliers are great. They do what they're supposed to do. They deliver the product based on the specifications as requested. Other suppliers, they're so-so, right? They'll get you the product whenever they get it to you. Sometimes it meets specs, sometimes it doesn't, because you got to send it back. All these things kind of push everything back. Hey, has anybody ever mailed anything and then it not get there when they said it was gonna get there? Like you mail something to, your friend in Nigeria or wherever, or in Jordan or San Francisco, wherever it is, right? And then or Palestine, wherever. And then you're like, hey, it should be in a week. Guess what? It's not there in a week. Where's it at? You call the post office. We don't know. We lost it. What do you mean you lost it? All right. So imagine that on a scale of a huge company like Microsoft or Dell or even Apple. Right? Imagine Apple called their supplier that gives them microchips and says, hey, where's that order we put in? Oh, we lost it. We don't know where it's at. All right. What do you mean you don't know where it's at? There's $2 million worth of microchips sitting somewhere, right? More likely in some kind of quad, at some pier, at some port, right? But it's sitting, anybody, we've all seen on TV. I don't know how familiar you guys are with actual shipping and logistic distribution, but if you guys have anybody ever been to Long Beach in the pier at Long Beach, the port at Long Beach, I should say? Yes? No? I know Hassan, see you shaking your head. Well, if you ever go to the port, the Long Beach port is one of the biggest ports in the United States. You see all the containers lined up, okay? And so all those containers have goods in them, right? From fruits and vegetables, plants, to car parts, to computer parts, to anything you can imagine, cars, whatever. Okay, and so the management of all that, right, is a big deal, right? Because that on average, containers get lost very quickly, and that's all money. Okay, that's all money for companies. If you have a containers coming from one country coming to the next, and then it gets to the destination, to the port, and then from the port, it's supposed to go to the company or wherever it's supposed to be at, and it doesn't get there, that's money lost, and that's a dent on your reputation as a company because you couldn't get the goods delivered to me in a timely manner, right? I can't count on you to deliver what I need all the time. Okay, so you have to keep an eye on that. Keep track of my time here. Okay. All right. So we have contingencies. Okay. So when we talk about contingencies, we're just talking about things that kind of happen that we plan for, right? But they're really, we're looking at just kind of hiccups, right? What's my backup plan, right? What's my plan B, right? What's my approach if as it says the suppliers don't deliver in time, or the customer can't take delivery of the product, all right? Or I have a marketing issue, or my IT system goes down, okay? Think about when you've gone to the airport before. Maybe there's a flight delay. Anybody ever think about why is there a flight delay? Why is my flight delayed? All right. I'm sure we've all gone through that experience. It could be for a number of reasons. Okay. The plane's down, right? The pilot's sick. The weather's bad. Okay. What is the contingency plan? All right. What's our backup plan? Well, what are we going to do? All right. To go ahead and mitigate this kind of, mistake that's happening. Okay. So you have to take that in consideration. Think about, okay, everything's not going to go as planned. Right. So I have to have contingencies in place in which to be able to, manage some of these, snafus and hiccups and these things that come up. Right. Again, taking the COVID as an example, COVID was a huge issue, which a lot of companies had to come with contingency plans, and cities had to come with contingency plans. And we did, right? We had outdoor dining. That's a contingency plan, right? In authorizing, because the companies had to go basically to had to go to the city and ask the city if they could put their tables on the street, right? Because in San Diego, it's illegal to have anything on the street, taking up parking spots and that kind of thing, right? You can't do that. It's illegal. So the city had to make a special condition based on the city ordinance to let restaurants set up on the streets. Okay. And so now we see that we have all these restaurants, and every major restaurant for the most part has some kind of outdoor seating now, right? Because of COVID, right? That's a contingency plan, right? Contingency plan, right? And so you always have to have some kind of contingency in mind, so that you'll be ready for when things don't necessarily pan out like the way you want it to pan out, okay? Because it's gonna happen, right? It's gonna happen, right? Okay, so now we look at cross-functional. One thing I can say about operations management, everything is gonna cross with operations management, right? And so you get an idea of what is going on throughout the whole company by working operations, right? Because operations, yes, I'm creating a product, good, or service, right? But how is that product, good, or service being portrayed? How are we marketing it, right? How are we selling it to the consumer, right? How much money do I actually have to make this happen? Okay. Those are all, primary functions or things that we have to look at when we're talking about operations management and some of the cross-functionality decision making that goes on with that. Because the folks in marketing, they care about what's going on operations, all right? They care about production because they're the ones that are going to have to figure out a way in which to sell the product, all right? How do we sell a plunger? How do we sell hangers, right? How do we market that? How do we market pencils and pens and erasers and things people don't even think about? Right? It's easy to market a car or a house or clothes or sneakers, right? But how do you market? I don't know. How do you market a bobby pin? Right? How do you market something as simple as trash bags? Okay, all those things are important to a marketer and to production because just because I make it don't mean I'm going to sell it. Okay, I can make a bunch of stuff, right, and have a lot of inventory, but I have to move it. All right, I have to move it. Think about a car dealership. When's the best time to buy a car? Anybody? What month, I should say, specifically?
Maybe March
March? Why March?
or after that. Maybe when people get the taxes back, you know, they return them their taxes.
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit. Anybody else want to take a stab at it? Best time to buy a car. No? October. October. October is the best time to buy a car. Anybody know why? Or want to take a guess as to why? Why is October the best time to buy a car? Now think about it from a operations inventory standpoint.
Yeah, because it's almost the end of the year, and the upcoming year they're gonna have like the new product coming to
There
the
you
market.
go. Right? The new models are coming in. Right?
Yeah.
And I have to clear out the old models. Okay,
Mhm.
so this is when in October is when the new models come in and the old models gotta go. Okay, because for every car that's on a car lot, for every car dealership, they pay taxes on those cars. Okay, so the longer it's there, the more money it's costing them. Right, but they want to get those old cars, old models out, so they can get the new models in because they know that's what people want. Right, so that's why they have these big sales sometimes in October. September, October, November, right? Or they have the new, they have a Christmas sale. They have, they have all these things lined up where they have all these incentives lined up during that time frame because they want to move the car out. Okay. And so again, those things, operations, supply management, supply distribution, marketing, all those things tie in together, right? Finance, right? If you go buy a car, you need the money to buy a car. All right. But if you can't get the money to buy a car, guess what? I'm not going to buy a car. And so that car stays on the lot. So all those things all cross together. You're going to have a lot of cross functional decision making that goes on within the company. Okay. All right. So now let's talk about it as a process. All right. So when we talk about, operations management and talking about the process that goes into it, right? We're really talking about the conversion process and what we call transformation, right? Inputs go in, right? And then you have this process, whatever the process is, right? And then the output comes out. Okay. So that's basically what we call transformation. Here we could have something as simple as, hey, this is water, right? And in here, this process here somehow freezes the water and it turns into ice. Okay. It's just a simple example of the transformation process, right? And so from an operations standpoint, what we're concerned about, okay, the inputs going in, are they quality inputs? Are they, the inputs we want? At what cost did we get the inputs, right? Because the output needs to be more valuable than the inputs. Okay, the outputs need to be more valuable than inputs because the outputs is what I'm really trying to, sell to the consumer. I'm not trying to sell them the inputs. I'm trying to sell them the outputs. But what happens here in this conversion process, transformation process, I should say, right, is extremely important, right? How do we transform these inputs into tangible, valuable outputs that people want to buy so that we can continue this cycle? Okay, that's what we're really looking at when we talk about operations and transformation. All right. Okay. All right. So two different things when we talk about, again, when we talk about operations management, a lot of times it's production or manufacturing where you're looking at, right? So there's the fabrication aspect and there's the assembly aspect, right? You could very well have a company that, let's say, for example, okay, out of these two, which one do you think fits Apple? Does Apple do transformation via fabrication, or does it do it through assembly as a whole, as a company? Does it transform through fabrication, or does it transform through assembly?
Assembly,
Assembly. What do you say that, Wayne?
because different parts are built by different either companies or
Mm,
factories, and then they're all assembled
mm.
in the same. I think even on their products it says designed in California and assembled in China or something like that.
Okay, there you go. Right, Debbie, you gonna say something?
No, you said it.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
from their product,
Mm-hmm.
it is written on their product already
Yeah,
that it was made in China and then just assembled here.
that's right. All right. So Apple is specifically in the assembly transformation process when it comes to the the physical product, right? Right, the actual phone itself, the hardware, right? But they're more in the fabrication aspect when it comes to the software, okay, or some parts of it, right? The phone operates and how it connects and does all this stuff. That's more of a fabrication or more of a design uh, transformation, right? Now the apps are a different story because some of the apps they make they develop themselves. Other apps they get from other people and they buy and they just put it together, okay? But when you talk about Apple, they are definitely creating, transformation via assembly because they're just putting parts together the way they need to put it together in order to, get the product out the door, right? And so you have to be cognizant of the two different types of transformation that are going on, right? So fabrication, making the parts, assembly, putting the parts together, all right? Some of the stuff that goes into the transformation process, again, like we talked about earlier, right? Energy, of course, right? From utilities to the energy of the employee, right? To the raw materials that you may need as far as, depending how you're making your energy, right? Are you making energy through solar panels? Are you green energy? There's all types of issues and things that go into that. So that's very nuanced. So we'll just keep it at energy, right? The materials, right? Be it raw materials or materials ready to go, right? Labor, which is the most expensive part of it all. The people putting it together, the people managing the process, right? From the line people all the way to the actual, staff manager or the operations manager, right? The capital, how much money are we talking about here, right? Are we investing into this process, right? And expecting a certain output, right? Is the cost going to outweigh the profit or the revenue, I should say. Okay. If the cost is going to outweigh the revenue, then we need to go ahead and probably find another line of business, right? We need the revenue to exceed the capital that we are investing in the process itself. Okay. And information, right? You really can't do too much without proper information. And I think it was Hussam that said data earlier, right? Data turns into information, right? And you need that. And so when you get feedback from your consumer, you get feedback from the process itself, right? Looking at the product, this is where quality control comes in, where we inspect the product to see if it meets the specifications that we had, desired, right? And if it doesn't meet those specifications, we need to go back, retool the whole process to figure out what area within the transformation process do we need to tweak in order to get the output that we're looking for. All right. So the only way to do that is via information. All the other stuff is great, but if I don't have any feedback from here coming back into the process, then it's going to be really hard for me to make any real substantive changes to what's going on. All right. So that's the extremely important part of this. And you see it's dotted because it's coming from here, going here. And it's really a feedback loop. That's what it really should be. It should from goods or services, right? All the outputs come here. Yes, I'm getting information, but it's going into the transformation process because I wanted to make sure that I refine the process as much as I can. All right. And make sure it's good to go. All right. So some of the challenges that we're facing right now when it comes to operations, right? Really, what the biggest one is between globalization and the increasing lack of raw materials, okay, which is kind of directly tied to globalization and environmental sustainability. And you hear that a lot: sustainability, sustainability. Everyone is preaching sustainability, but a lot of companies find it very hard to really be sustainable in a way that's going to make them money. Okay, they'll talk it and they'll do a few things, but at the end of the day, if it doesn't, you know, if it costs too much or if it's going to be too much of a financial burden, sustainability kind of goes out the door. All right, and so you really want to try to make sure that a lot of companies are going towards green. Right, a lot of companies are, all the car companies now are going towards hybrids and electric vehicles, right? Everybody trying to be a Tesla or a Neo or or do the hybrid. And even the high-end companies, car manufacturers are now, they all have electronic vehicles, right? Electric vehicle, some kind of model that is electric, right? That's putting less of a burden on our capacity to provide energy, trying to lessen the carbon footprint, right? Trying to contribute to climate control and all this other stuff, right? But globalization, really, at the end of the day, is what's making all this possible, right? Because we have a interconnectedness that we didn't have before because of the internet, right? We can facilitate this. We couldn't do this 10 years ago. We couldn't have a Zoom session. If class was out, class was out. Right? There was no way I could facilitate a class on Zoom 5, 10 years ago. Right? We'd have to do a video teleconference or something like that, which was really not easy for everyone to do because everyone didn't have the equipment, we didn't have the infrastructure and that kind of thing, right? Now we can do business. We can talk to each other anywhere we're at and get in contact with each other, and no big deal. Okay. But again, that's due to technology, and technology is helping us be able to be more interconnected, right, with other people around the world. But it's also um, increasing the demand for raw materials, because now countries that weren't necessarily developed or in the developing stage are now developing, or the developed countries now, and they want to be part of the global environment. They want to be part. They want to be a global power. They want to be United States. They want to be China. They want to be Great Britain. They want to be Japan. Right? Those are all world powers, and those, economically speaking. Okay, when I say world power, I'm talking about economically speaking. We're talking about countries that are extremely well developed, have good infrastructure, have opportunities for jobs and that kind of thing, education, right? All those things are tied together. Okay, again, everyone here is from a different country, right? Why did you leave, Nigeria to come to school here? Why did you leave Jordan or Palestine or you know to come here to go to school? You could have went to school in your country, right? But why United States? Why come here? Or why go someplace else?
Yes, because it was a degree from United States. It's give you more opportunities for job in Jordan and the Middle East.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's strong, and the United States is it's good with MBA.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
yeah. Okay.
in business administration. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's definitely a number of reasons as to why you came in, but the ability to do that has a lot to do with our advances in technology and the fact that we're getting more globalized. But it also is going to have an impact on our environment, okay, and sustainability, and trying to make sure we leave the earth in a better condition for our future, right? For our kids, grandkids, great grandkids, right? We need to make sure that we leave them a place that they can actually live in, right? Although we are exploring Mars and its other places, that kind of thing, we're on Earth right now, and we need to figure out a way to make sure that Earth is going to be okay, right? All right. So I think that's all I got for tonight. Any questions, comments, complaints? Just want to say something. No. Okay, no problem. All right. So for this week, make sure I see you guys already. A lot of you guys already did the learning engagement, or at least posted tonight. If you haven't posted yet, go in there, try to post, get that post in before midnight, and then make sure you take the quiz before Sunday. Okay. I know it says it's supposed to be done in class, but because we have online students and we have hybrid students, everybody gets till Sunday to finish it with me anyway. Okay. So make sure you get that done, and you should be good to go. And I will see you next Wednesday.
Thank you.
Good. All right.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Night. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Bye.